We use the adage, first facilitate thyself. And that's based on our very strong belief that to be a good facilitator, you need high levels of self-awareness. You need to know what presses your buttons, what you find difficult, what you might be challenged by, so that you can keep yourself in a centered, clear space so that you're ready to cope with whatever happens in the group you're facilitating. If, for example, I have an unconscious fear of conflict because of my childhood, the way conflict was dealt with in my family or whatever, and that's an unconscious thing. It's not something I'm aware of, not something I've worked on to make sure I'm managing it. If I go into a group with that unconsciousness, then I will do things unconsciously to prevent conflict from happening in that group. And I wouldn't even know that I was doing that. And often our students, before they do our units around conflict, say, oh, I don't have conflict in the groups that I facilitate. And lo and behold, they do the units on conflict, and suddenly they come back and go, oh yes, there was conflict. Fancy that. The next group I facilitated, there was conflict. So we can be unconsciously stopping the important work that a group needs to do, for example, to have strong differences of opinion in order to make a wise decision that we might be facilitating them through. We can unconsciously suppress that because of our own fears, our own fears that it'll get out of hand, that we won't know what to do if people express really strong feelings. And so we do lots of clever little facilitation tricks to make sure that doesn't actually happen. We might overuse techniques of breaking people into groups and doing this, or exercises or games or whatever. We might overuse those things to stop the fundamental work of the group, which is often the group talking about difficult stuff. And if, for example, they're trying to make a big decision or work through an issue, big strong differences have to be able to come out onto the table, and a facilitator needs to be able to stand with that. A facilitator needs to be able to have themselves clear so they can be truly at the service of the group, so they can help hold the space for those difficult things to be talked about. And if we're not afraid to step into the fire with the group, then the group will be less afraid, and the group can do things that are quite transformative that otherwise they might not be able to do. So it's worth thinking about what are the things that we're fearful about as facilitators, and what's the basis for that, and be able to find that strong and wise and centered part of us so that we can, in a sense, talk to the fearful part of us and work our way through that so that we can go into a group totally free of our own stuff and be of service to the group.